Topic number three, we are talking floor and ceilings for some of our favorite college basketball teams. Now, I'm gonna pick probably about 10 of our favorite, most talked about teams here on the podcast, and I want to define the floor and the ceiling for all of those teams, Ralph. Now, that could be anything. We could, I guess let's get the parameters down here first. As far as
Okay.
floor and ceiling, do you want to talk like where they finish in the poll, what their season ends like, where they finish in their conference. What do you want to where do you want to keep the floor and ceiling conversation kind of on
I
path?
would I would say ceiling to include a conference championship and then a NCAA tournament finish. A floor would be where they finish in conference standings and if they miss the tournament.
Ooh, okay. All right, that sounds good. Let's get the top teams out of here first. What is Purdue's let's get the easy ones too. Purdue's ceiling and then Purdue's floor. Obviously, Purdue's ceiling is best team in the country, win a national championship, cut down the nets
Correct.
in Indy.
Unless they play the U19 team, apparently.
Unless they play the U19 team, which they won't. What's their floor, though?
I think their floor is probably like third in the Big Ten and round of 32 upset.
Yeah. So I think I feel this. I think the worst case scenario would be third in the Big Ten. Maybe no banner either, so like they don't even win the Big Ten tournament.
Right.
And they it sucks to say, but I think I or it feels weird to say, but I think their floor might be like a Sweet 16 loss.
Yeah. I don't think we're gonna see a first round upset from this team.
Hmm.
But like let's say they get a 3 seed and then lose to a 6.
Yeah.
Like you can see that.
Yeah. I can see that. I feel like that's fair to say. What about Houston?
Ceiling is national championship. Um Floor is probably a Big 12 championship.
So you think that because we had this conversation the other day.
I'm done down in Houston, man.
You should be. It's not good to do. But we had this conversation the other day on the channel. Who has the higher floor between Purdue and Houston?
I think Houston has a higher floor just with that program and the way that they play. Um, but I think Purdue's got the higher ceiling.
I think that actually I believe G said that Purdue had the higher floor, which I said Houston had the higher floor. So we
Yeah.
seem to be on lockstep on this one. Let's go to your favorite team in the country next. Let's go Kentucky.
Ceiling is national championship. Floor is probably like I'll say a repeat of what I think finished sixth in the SEC last year.
Mhm.
Floor is probably sixth or seventh in the SEC and another like 7 seed.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think the floor looks a lot like last year, what it ended up being.
Yeah.
Feeling. I'm gonna say national championship, but I do want to get this out there. I had this phrase in my head that I can't get rid of, and it's that a national championship team's best player is Otega Owe.
I think the ceiling involves Otega Owe not being their best player.
Ooh, I haven't heard that. Talk me through on that a little bit.
I think either Jalen Lowe steps up and is like the guy he was the first half of the year at Pitt before he decided to transfer halfway through the year. I think maybe Quaintance comes into his own as the season goes on. There are a number of guys here who have really high ceilings. Owe is going to be one of their best players,
Hmm.
but I think the best version of Kentucky involves him being one of their best players and not the best player.
I like that angle. I didn't see that, but I do like that angle. And also, like to that point, like I think it's I have to come to grips with the fact that it doesn't align with how because I think Ortega is going to be a first team All American, right? Like I think
Yeah.
that's what his season is going to look like. I just like mentally can't get over the hurdle of like national championships team best player is Ortega Owe after what we've seen the past couple years, right? Like Walter Clayton was the best player on a national championship team.
Right.
Those unbelievable Yukon teams. Like those were it was just a little bit different, but Ortega always an all-American level caliber player. So you gotta come to grips with that, I feel like, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I think he's certainly all SEC caliber. I think if he's first team All American, I think that means Kentucky's relying on him a little bit too much.
True. That's true. All right, let's go. We're gonna go back to back mitten schools here. Let's start with Michigan. What is Michigan's ceiling and Michigan's floor?
Michigan's ceiling is probably a Final Four. I think the floor is probably like sixth or seventh in the Big Ten, and like a 8-9 game or 7-10 game in the tournament, losing the first round.
Yeah, I would go Final Four as well. The only reason I'm not saying national championship is because of guard play. I just
Yeah,
I I just doubt the guard play enough to be national championship level worthy. The floor, I probably know banners in the Big Ten, finishing like fifth, sixth in the Big Ten, maybe. Um, Honestly, no, it could fall out a little bit more. The floor might be like seventh or eighth, honestly, in the Big Ten.
might be.
And then I would just say don't make it to a second weekend. Probably the
Yeah.
floor.
I,
And
I think a first round loss would be in the cards for worst case scenario. I think they're making the tournament, and I don't think there's a question about that. But there's very real scenarios where they don't win a game there.
yeah. Michigan State.
I'll defer to you. I'll let you go first for your team.
I think the ceiling is I say the ceiling is just because like they want it. No, I'm gonna say the ceiling is like second in the Big Ten and an Elite Eight run. I think is the ceiling probably.
This video is brought to you by NBA 2KLab.com. 2K Lab worked with us last summer as well. They're one of our favorite entities in all of sports gaming. We want to show you their college basketball stadium locator challenge game. And I'm going to share a screen right now as we do this. South Carolina, bang. Oh,
Ooh,
okay, that's pretty good. Next, North Carolina. Why are we only getting the Carolinas?
please
Bang.
lock in.
St. John's, that's New
New
York.
York.
Bang.
Where's New Jersey?
We're on fire. Colorado. I actually don't know what state Colorado is.
It's in Colorado. There's a state of
Is that
Colorado.
this one?
It's to the right of Phoenix.
Anyway, you get the picture. This game's really fun. They've got more games as well, like Guess the NBA Player, Mystery Fantasy Draft, and more. Stay tuned for all of the college football content and games that they'll be putting together to help you get the best experience out of college football 26. Back to the video.
So I don't even think a ceiling involves a banner for Michigan State, unfortunately, unless they make a tournament run. The floor could get dirty, dirty as ever. I think the floor is this team is like eighth, ninth in the Big Ten, barely makes the NCAA tournament, wins a game, and then goes home.
I think the floor is at its Izzo's last year,
Like missing
and
the
that
tournament.
yeah,
Woo! We never do that.
I know. But I, if things don't go right, it's because fears and Carr don't take a step forward. Which,
Mhm.
like, okay, yeah, that's a very real chance of happening.
Right.
And then they're like a mid-tier Big Ten team from a talent perspective. And let's say they don't play fast, they play slow, and they have no offense in the half court, and it's just a slog every time they play. Like worst case scenario is missing the tournament, finishing like bottom half of the Big Ten. That would be like 10th and not 16th. But I agree with you. I think the ceiling is also an Elite Eight run, probably a Big Ten tournament title that includes Cohen Carr being in National Player of the Year conversations.
Oh my God, you're a dirty, 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 dirty man. Let's move on to BYU.
Natty,
Natty?
natty.
Gotta be Natty. What's the floor?
Statue of AJ DeBanza built before the title game.
Need that. But what's the floor though? I think that's the scary part about this BYU team.
The floor is probably, I think it's higher because there is a good, bit back. I think it's probably like fifth or sixth in the Big 12 and a first round tournament loss.
Yeah, I think so too. I just think they have enough back to make the floors like safer than you want to think, right? But
Right.
high end talent have added like what they did to Bansa thinks national title. So I like that. I like that angle for that one. Let's do Yukon next.
Ceiling is natty.
Steely's also natty. I agree.
Floor is second in the Big East.
Their floor is pretty safe, isn't it?
Maybe third in the Big East if Blake Harper is as good as you think he is and going to be in Creighton jumps up there.
He is.
But like I think the only real threats to them in the Big East are obviously St. John's, and then if Creighton is insane.
Okay. All right. You know what? I know I said 10 teams, but I don't really know if I want. Actually, yes, I do. Let's go Arkansas next, since I have you here.
I think is the ceiling is probably a Final Four.
It is. Don't try to say it isn't.
If if things break right and all the guys who showed flashes at the last year keep taking steps forward, I think that the talent is there for a Final Four team. The floor is probably a team that's sub 500 in the SEC and misses the tournament.
Ooh, misses the tournament too, huh?
Yeah.
I would say the floor is not to cheat the system, but a lot like it was last year. But instead of winning tournament game, they lose in the first round. But the actual act of what
You don't think there's a case where they missed the tournament?
I
Because they
don't think
almost did this year.
I don't think so with Acuff coming in. They get Carter Knox back. They get Brazil back. I'm a Malik Ewing guy. I don't know. I just think the roster and they'll figure it. I think Cal will figure it out.
I'm done giving Calipari passes.
Dude. All right, one more team. I know you're done giving them passes. Let's go with my Cards. Let's go with the Louisville Cardinals. What is the ceiling for the Cards?
Natty.
Thank you. I thought you were gonna get it on here and not say Natty. What's the ceiling? I'm sorry, not the ceiling, the floor.
Natty.
Go- You want to be me so bad. You want to be me so
No, the floor is probably sixth in the ACC,
bad. Ooh,
which would go in conjunction with teams like NC State and Virginia being at their ceilings, and losing in the first round of the tournament.
yeah. Yeah, I think it's finishing middle-ish of the ACC, losing first round of the tournament again like last season. And also while in conjunction this is going on, their floor looks a lot like Kentucky hitting their ceiling. So while all that's
Yeah.
going on, Kentucky's just great. Mark Pope is great. They're getting recruits, everything happens. It's a floor that would be extremely mucky if that happens, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All
Yes.
right. That was a fun exercise. I enjoyed that. I hope the teams I want and like hit their ceiling because floors aren't fun.